All right, everybody, welcome to the celebration of 25 years of the Ace and TJ show in Charlotte. Let's hear it. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. This is a really special night. We've got some people filing in now, but we want to get this thing started. We got a lot to talk about. As you know, Ace and TJ have been in the Charlotte market for 25 years on this day. This is the anniversary. And I'm really excited to be here. My name is Riggins. I've worked on the show for a couple of years. I want to introduce everybody on the show, if that's okay, before we get to the guest of the hour, whatever they call that. First, let's start over there. The newest show member on the Ace and TJ show. Give it up for Alexis.
Hi.
All right. And then, of course, everybody knows Tech D Rob.
Hello.
And Alexis's boyfriend Jay is here. I see him over there. Very handsome guy, right? Give him a round of applause. So good looking. And of course, Jody and Amanda, Ace and TJ's wives, are here. Give them a round of applause. So lovely. A lot of family members. TJ's kids are here. Ace's son is here. It's going to be a great night. Yeah. I don't want to waste any more time. I'd like to bring out, one by one if I could, the man who inspired me to get into radio. Give a warm welcome to Ace. Hello, Ace.
Hello, Riggins. How are you?
Good.
Good.
And TJ. Like a well-oiled machine, isn't it? 25 years.
You want to close those doors?
Hey,
I'm sorry, I'm giving directions. I'm along for the ride tonight.
I need one of you pretty ladies to come sit on my lap up here. I feel like Santa Claus in this big old chair. Any takers of you pretty ladies out there? How about you, ma'am, with the curly hair? Not the one with the badass-looking guy. The other. Kimberly is her name.
Yeah, that's a tough
She's
dude.
on my list. Santa's list, that is.
Like, what? What list
All right,
are we talking
you
about?
gonna introduce me?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well,
It's okay.
okay.
It's okay.
So we're here to celebrate 25 years. Are you guys excited about talking about the last, 25 years in radio? Or is this something that seems like more of a chore for you?
I'll defer to Ace.
I think it's fun. We came here at a really unique time. The Kiss 95.1 was not burning it up, and we came over and interviewed and fell in love with the people. We were in this raggedy building on the corner of 3rd and South Kings. It's no longer here. It's now an apartment complex. And there was a lady down the hall that did hair, and she would leave her sink running, and it would overflow and run down into the conference room. I mean, water would leak through the ceiling into the other room. We were like, what have we gotten ourselves into? This is not what we thought big time radio was. But we were having the time of our lives. It was, we were very blessed to come here and meet the people that we met and work with everybody, because it was just a fantastic time.
That's all right.
This is going to be a tough night.
Yeah, it paid the bills,
Yeah.
I was supposed to be here like 10 minutes and then go to a major market. I ended up getting some girl pregnant. Had to end up staying here. But, I mean, his version is, it's nice, too. It's a fairy tale, but...
TJ, can you tell me why you chose broadcasting? Do you remember?
Because I had failed at everything else I tried.
Is that right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, it was a way for me to be in entertainment, and it would have been so selfish for me to hold my talents to myself. So I had to figure out a way where I could really put my talents out there to reach the most number of people. It's kind of a charitable aspect on my life. Like a free T-shirt.
Ooh.
Ooh. You want a free T-shirt? Okay. It's not in here. You got
It's a free T-shirt.
We have T-shirts to give away?
Not yet. That's why it's a gift card.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I just learned something.
That's a wish list.
I swear to y'all, I did not know that was happening until just now.
That's a wish list.
Before we really dive deeper, I want to say this is a special night, not only because it's 25 years in the Ace and TJ market, but we've got some major announcements to make tonight. Ace, don't give anything away, but is this worthy of an event? I mean, it's some major changes coming to the Ace and TJ show.
Yeah, there are two big things that were changing. Wait, you said don't make any announcements. I was told to make the announcement.
Tease it. Give it a little
it's a
professional
tease.
radio tease.
All right, I didn't know that. I thought I was supposed to just make the announcement. No. We're making two major. They're not really major changes, but we have one thing we're announcing that we're super excited about. The next project through our next charity project that we'll be telling you about a little bit later. That's pretty awesome. And I wish I had thought of it because it's really spectacular and we're excited about it. And then we're going to change the name of something that a lot of you know and love into something a little bit different. So we'll be telling you about that coming up a little bit later.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, is that all I'm supposed to do? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I was waiting for him to chime in with something.
Okay.
So can either of you share a story about an interesting story, preferably?
Excuse me, Rick.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah.
But first of all, how luxurious and beautiful is this man's head of hair? I mean,
That's a good head of hair.
look at that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I mean, I would kick the Pope in the nuts to have that hair, knowing that I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Do you each have like a unique story about, not about how you met, but how you kind of came together as a show in the early days of Zero? Unique, funny story that you could share about that time?
Not one that we haven't shared 1,000 times before.
Well,
I mean, we have a problem of constantly talking about ourselves, and we've been to therapy, and the therapist told us to let others breathe some of the air every now and then.
Yeah.
In other words, I don't know. What did you ask?
Do you have?
Well, I don't know if people realize this is 25 years in Charlotte, but we did 5 years before that.
Yeah.
So we started in Alexandria, Louisiana, and we got this job. We both got out of college at the same time, came to work at the same radio station, and just kind of met up. We were the only two single guys. We were hanging out, and TJ was going back and forth from Winfield, Louisiana to Alexandria on the weekends to work. And that's how we became friends. And the radio station gave us an apartment that they traded, meaning they ran commercials to offset the rent, which gives you an idea of how nice the apartment was because it was in a bad part of town. And when it rained really hard, the pool in front of our apartment would flood and the water would rush under the door, so we had to put towels down to keep the water from rushing under the door.
But technically, there is no good part of town in Louisiana, in
Good
the
point.
entire state. I mean,
So long story short, the station goes into bankruptcy, and
that's how good we were.
right.
I mean,
This is before us.
we were killing it.
This is before us, and we were the program director, the music director, the assistant. We were doing everything, and they had to make us the morning show, or else we threatened to quit. And when we became the morning show, they said the only way we can do that is if you got to figure out a way to do afternoons and not cost us money. So we did the morning show together. Then we would swap out doing the afternoon show, which was really dumb, but it saved money. So that was the only way we could do a morning show together. We were there for about a year and a half, and then took off.
Yeah, and I don't know where we would be today if I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a little misty here. If back then bitches would have been so sensitive about sexual harassment. I mean,
We wouldn't be here.
if they were as sensitive about it then as they are now, good Lord, I'd still be working in a sawmill.
What was either of you could answer this? I don't know if you ever got it, but what was some of the harshest criticism you received early on in those first days? Not only when you were just starting out together as a team, but here in Charlotte. Do you remember receiving one that was like a blow to the ego?
There was a guy that was we had moved from Alexandria to Baton Rouge, which those two cities are vastly different in size. So going from Alexandria to Baton Rouge was what we would call in the industry a huge market jump. So the lower the number of the market, the smaller the town is. For example, New York is number 1, LA is number 2, Chicago's number 3. We were in market 211 or something, and we jumped to market 81 overnight. And
It wasn't that
The
good.
guy-
Don't applaud. It was like, as they say, it was a shit show. It was bad.
Yeah. So the guy that was in charge of the radio station we were going to was a consultant. And he was a consultant that always wanted to be on the radio, but he wasn't talented enough to do that. So he got into another part, I think, management area. So then, it's kind of like when a really nerdy guy from a small town ends up growing up and being on the police force, and he wants to give everybody a ticket who he thinks wronged him in high school and all. That's the way this guy was. Any of the cool kids, he was just like, wanted to show power over them. He was a fat little demon. I mean, I know right now, I mean, I could shed about, these last 37 vanity pounds, but this guy was huge. I mean, he was dangerously fat. I had a Sunbird, Pontiac Sunbird at the time. He used to make us take him back and forth to the airport when he'd fly in, and that bastard could barely sit in that bucket seat of that Sunbird. So anyway, he asked me one day when I was taking his fat ass back to the airport in 5 o'clock traffic, knowing I got to get up early the next morning and go do a show that he was telling us we needed to do that we knew was terrible. He said, "Richie," that's my real name. I know it's a lot cuter than TJ, but whatever. And Ace's real name is Percival Sweetwater. He said, "Richie, what did you and Percival do before you got into radio?" And I said, "Well, I worked for a lumber company. I was a purchasing agent for a lumber company, and Ace was, I think the other jobs he had before college, he worked for his dad setting up mobile homes, And he goes, "Well, I think maybe it's time that the two of you look at going back to those jobs."
Yikes.
Yeah. His name is Jim, and I called him Jim Jong-il, like the brutal dictator of North Korea, Kim Jong-il. I called him Jim Jong-il. And he hasn't done much since then.
Not a thing.
Really, So it was kind of he was daring us to go do something else. Yeah.
So
and we did.
We go in and we give our 2 weeks notice. And I was bummed because I was so excited when we got this job because it was in Baton Rouge. I'm an LSU graduate. Like, we're going to own the town. We're going to the game. People are going to love it. It's going to be fantastic. And it sucked and it was embarrassing. The whole thing was a disaster. It was bad. And
Well, I mean, I carried my weight.
I didn't. So we go in
wrong.
and we go in to quit. We gave them our 2 weeks notice, and we're getting 2 weeks notice. We're leaving. They're like, "Why are you leaving?" Which was, they knew why we were leaving. It was a race. They were going to fire us, so we were going to leave. And they said the program director's name was Johnny A. And Johnny said, "Oh, well, that's good because Jim will be here next week." And I can still see where I was standing in Johnny's office. He never turned the lights on. He just had lamps on, which was really weird, I always thought. And TJ goes, "Good, because I'm going to hit that son of a bitch in the face with a shovel."
I said, "I'm going to beat the shit out of him when he walks in."
And I mean, the room went, he was just looking at him like he started to laugh, but he wasn't sure if TJ was joking or not because we'd already told him how much we hated him. And he goes, and then Jim never showed up. I don't know what happened with that, but Jim didn't come during those 2 weeks.
And then I almost said to Johnny A., "And if you talk any more shit, I'm going to knock that toupee off your head." Just like he had a dead squirrel sitting on his head. But he had it cut into a chili bowl. This is like the early 90s. So you remember that chili bowl cut? And all he had his toupee done that way. And he was really the one that was supposed to be in charge of the radio station, but he had messed it up so badly they just turned it over to this other guy. Any more fond memories you want to drag up, Riggins?
Well, I mean, that's part of the
Let's go get him now.
Yeah, let's go get him right now.
Let's all go get him. That bastard lives in Utah. We can be there in 2 days.
Well, let me do some administrative. Todd, Mr. Todd is here. Give him a round of applause. Do we have to take breaks, or can we just carry right through? We can just keep going. Okay, good. Ace, what was early on, and everybody knows radio DJs typically have to go on location and do kind of wacky things to drum up interest. Is there one event or situation that you got put in early on that stands out as the worst, like some sort of costume you had to put on or something awful?
Well, one of the things when we first started, we had to do these remote appearances, and the radio station was in Alexandria was called it was the 100,000 watt gorilla. It's what they like live from the 100,000 watt gorilla tower. And so they sold, we had this huge, what was it, like 12, 15 feet high, this inflatable gorilla that had its arms up in the air, and they sold signage all over the gorilla. And so we'd go to these remotes, and it's Louisiana, and it's like July, and it's 140 degrees. And before you could start your appearance, we had to go out there and set up this damn gorilla, which took about 45 minutes to set up. So by the time you're ready to, people come up and like, hey, I love the Ace and TJ show. And I've already sweat through my shirt. You look, it was a disaster.
Yeah. When did you guys?
But actually, sorry, Riggins, I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah.
Actually, I think our wardrobe for club wear could have been considered a costume.
Oh my God. What was
Yeah,
that?
it was bad. We had this guy that worked. Any of y'all old enough to remember JW and Chess King in the mall? Oh yeah, that's Ace's sister. She old as hell. She knows what we're talking about. And we had this guy there that was a fan of ours, and he'd give us the employee discount on these cheap ass, silky looking sport coats. And I remember Ace had one that was white. Were you one, or did I have that one?
I didn't have the white one. I had
I had a white one that had black fake leather stripes down the side of it. I mean, it was awesome. And then we wear pointed toe cowboy boots with chains on them and stuff. I had a mullet that Billy Ray Cyrus in the early 90s looked at and went, damn. He was like, we didn't have wish lists back then because there was no internet, but he would have put my mullet on his wish list. But anyway, yeah, so that was it. And the guy, though, ended up getting arrested. He was selling cocaine
he was selling
out there
drugs.
or something.
Yeah.
It's Louisiana, every day is a winding road,
Here's the funny part, though. We took all these experiences, and when we came to Charlotte, where's Bill? Is Bill still here?
Bill may have left, yeah.
Bill Shaning is here, who is the general manager of the station. He's the guy that hired us to come here. And when we were sitting down going through contract stuff, TJ and I thought we were so smart. We'd been through so much. We were saying, and we're not going to do this or this. And finally, at one point, he goes, "Who has hurt you through the years?" He goes, why would I have you do any of these idiotic things? We were like, this is all stuff we've had to do in the past. Bill's voice is kind of, he goes, we don't do shit like that around here. We treat people the right way. I was like, well, good. Then you won't have any problem signing that we won't have to do that right there.
Because we were under a contract in Birmingham at the time that they called us to come interview for the morning job on KISS 95.1. And it's a big thing in radio, and I'm sure it's in other companies and other industries as well, but contract tampering. And so since we were under contract, Bill was being very vague about, no, I'm not offering you a job because I can't do that because I'm not going to get hit with contract tampering and this, that, and the other. Like being, down the line with it. So they had put us up in a hotel. It's what's called the Omni now. I don't know what it was at the time. Radisson. It was called the Radisson then. That's how long we've been here. When the Omni downtown was called the Radisson. And so we get back there and we're coming back and we're going to meet him for dinner. And I said, all right, let's just get this guy. He seems like he's really cool. Let's get him out to dinner and relax and see what'll happen. And about maybe an hour into dinner, we went to Sullivan's. It was brand new in Charlotte at the time. I mean, they were really trying to woo us, About an hour in, he goes, all right, look, I want you to come take the job, and this is what I'm going to pay you. I'll pay you and you this, and then I'll pay you, he pointed at our producer, this. And he had taken an employee along with him to keep him from doing that. So there was contract tampering all over that table that night.
Yeah.
And then we were sitting there, because we didn't have an agent or anything at the time, and we were trying to stay, poker-faced about it and all, and under the table we're kicking each other like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
And by that time, and then after we ate dinner, we went over to Vinny's on South Boulevard. It's I don't know what it is now, but it used to be Vinny's.
Yeah.
At one time, it was a Cajun Asian place.
Yeah, it's right there by the Walgreens
Yeah.
on South Boulevard now.
And so we're the last ones there. We're waiting on a cab because there wasn't Uber back then. We're waiting on a cab, and he's driving off. And we start waving him back into the parking lot because I'm like, oh, we've bonded with this guy now. I'm going to make a joke. So he swings back around. He comes in, and he rolls his window down and he goes, what? I said, hey, is it okay if we, to celebrate, we order porn in the rooms? Because they were paying for it. And he started laughing. He goes, oh, yeah, do whatever you want. Well, I'll see you in the morning. So he drives off. The next day, he gets the hotel bill, and he goes, shit, Ace was serious. I swear.
I'm telling you,
he said, you were joking.
I knew
Ace
this afternoon he was going to tell that story tonight. I knew he would tell that damn story.
He said Ace is the only one that really did it.
I was like, God dang, he's going to tell that story tonight. So we're at Vinny's, true story. I was just talking to Bill about this outside. We're at Vinny's, and Bill goes, it's me, and everybody left. It was just me and TJ and Bill. And to be honest with you, we're all kind of drunk at this point. And I'm like, and our producer at the time, and I'm like, this is like,
yeah.
We're talking about you, but there you are.
Hey, seriously, give everybody give him a big round.
That's why we're here right there. And so,
if it weren't for him, we wouldn't be here. And well, I wouldn't be poor. I mean, I would have still found something going on, but whatever. So, Bill, to catch you up, telling the story about when we came in for the interview and we were at Vinny's. You pulled away, and then I waved you back in, and you rolled the window down, and I said, can we order porn in the room? And you laughed, and I laughed, and you said, yeah, whatever. And then the next day, you were reading the bill to us and said Ace was the only one that actually got the porn in his room.
Did we need to relive that moment again? I don't think we did.
He wasn't.
You're on the microphone. Bill didn't need to know that. He knew the story already.
Yeah, he's probably still paying. That's how much you got. He's like, I didn't even know a person could consume that much porn.
We're at Vinny's, and Bill goes, tell you what I'm going to do. He goes, and he pulls out a pencil, he writes down, and he goes, this is what I'll pay you. And he pushes it across the table. And I looked down, and I said, in my infinite wisdom, because I thought I was so smart, I said, that's a piece, right? And he looked at me like I was the dumbest human on the face of the earth. He goes, well, yeah. And I went, oh, okay.
And you could see that look on his face like, damn, I could have gotten them for half.
Because he could have, because we hated what we were doing at the time. And I just reached over and took that napkin. I thought I was trying to put it on and put it in my pocket. Like, if he says tomorrow he didn't do it, I'm going to have to pull this napkin out. Like, no, the hell you did. You said this is how much you said you'd pay us.
Yeah, and at that time, Ace would have taken the job just for pizza coupons and porn.
Not even lying.
Pay me in pizza and porn, maybe Boston Market once a month.
Something fancy.
Yeah.
What was there? Was there a moment early on where you knew, oh, this is going to work here?
Oh, yeah. I knew, if I'm being honest, we sat in the hotel room. We came over and interviewed. We went to dinner and all that Friday night. The next morning we got up and we listened to the radio, and we all did it independently. And TJ was listening in his room, and I sat in the hotel room. We scanned up and down the dial, and this was 98 pre-cell phones. And the whole time I'm listening, I'm like, dude, there's a hole in that. What you could drive a truck through the hole in this market for what we do. Like, there's nobody that does what we do. I was so excited. Like I can't wait to get here because everything about it felt right. And you went and looked at it, and like, the building sucked. It was horrible, and it was gross, but it was perfect. Like, everything about it was perfect. Everybody there was like young and excited, and it was terrible but beautiful all at the same time. And everything about it when we came was like, this is going to be like, this is everything we could ever want it to be. And it couldn't have been any better. But I knew immediately, like, we are going to just kill. And it didn't take long before the people began to respond. For whatever reason, it just kind of caught on. I do remember the first morning we went on the air, and we kind of like, oh, you're listening to a new show and blah, 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 that kind of thing. And then the second break that we did, TJ said, it's, we're new. We're new in town. We've been here for about a week. We've been living we live over at the Radisson or whatever. And so you need to know us. We need to know you. So here's the honest truth. My dad ran off with a preacher groupie, and then when he talked about his family, And then we're like, and I forgot we talked about, tell us about your weird family, whatever. And it seemed like people immediately were like, what is this? Like, what is happening right now? And it just, from there, it was natural. It just took off from there.
And a couple of things. One that I always like telling people in this area, Charlotte is, even though it's not in the largest market sizes and everything, the biggest cities in radio, it's one of the most well-respected. And we were coming to the biggest city we had ever even thought about living in, you know? And to come in and one of the major reasons that people thought that is because John Boy and Billy. And we did a show back then before we came to Charlotte. We were in Huntsville, Alabama, and we did a lot of funny voice characters and all. I mean, we had all these characters that we would call up and pretend like we were talking to and all, just like John Boy and Billy. Well, we couldn't do that in Charlotte. The last thing we wanted was, you know, for people to say, y'all just trying to be like John Boy and Billy. And it was a big change, but we found that it was even more geared toward our personalities. And it allowed us to be funny and interesting as ourselves and not as these, you know, silly characters. Plus, it was a lot less work. I mean,
It was a lot less work.
you know,
It really was.
Billy does a tremendous amount of work on the John Boy and Billy show because he writes those sketches and everything. And I mean, he's kind of that cerebral type that'll sit and do that. And when we had to do that, we'd have to force ourselves and go, you know, we hadn't done a Captain Jimmy routine in a while. And of course, you know, we wouldn't be able to do it now anyway because it's so offensive.
It was very offensive.
You
It
know,
was
not
bad.
cuss and vulgar offensive, but you know how touchy people are. But our show changed tremendously from what it was to that first day going on the radio in Charlotte and just concentrating on the fact that we didn't want anybody saying we were trying to be John Boy and Billy. Not that they're not great, but you know they already own the market.
Yeah. And we'd had such a great experience in Alexandria, Louisiana. Then we go to Baton Rouge, and it was a disaster for 6 months. But you know, people always talk about what'd you learn from losing. We learned a lot about ourselves. We go to Huntsville. We spent 2 years there and crushed because we knew we'd learned so much. Then we spent 7 months being paid to not be on the radio in
That's
Birmingham.
how you know you suck.
Yeah, they were paying us to not be on the radio when they called and said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming over and interviewing in Charlotte?" So we got a raise and a promotion, and we weren't even on the radio. It was, you know, it was weird. But when we came over, we knew like this is who we are, what we do, and just nobody was gonna stand in our way. Nobody was gonna stop us. And we got lucky early on. For whatever reason, a guy called one day and said, and this is such a weird story. A guy called one day and said, "I'm thinking about killing myself." And we were like, "Is this? Is this real?" And we were playing a song, and we'd probably been on 3 months, 4 months, something like that. And we went on the air and said, "Hey, everybody, here's the deal. We got to come off the air. We can't tell you anything about it. You're just going to hear music for a long time, and then you're going to hear some commercials. Then you're going to hear some music while we figure this out. But we'll fill you in a few minutes." And we talked to this guy for probably 30 minutes, 30 minutes, I guess, 1998. And he was talking about killing himself. And then we heard, while we did that, Pete, who was producing the show, called the cops, filled him in, and we heard the cops arrive at his house. And the guy was really kind at the end. He was like, "Thank you. I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to go with these guys, and they're going to help me work it out." And so turns out, I don't know how this happened. To this day, I don't know. But it ended up in Reader's Digest. I don't know if somebody turned that into Reader's Digest or not, but there was a write-up in Reader's Digest about it. And that seemed to kind of be a thing for whatever reason. Now, fast forward 5-6 months ago, I don't know, this came up or something, and that guy sent us a message. And he said, and we thought he was faking, and then we asked him a couple questions, and he was able to answer them. And he was like, "To this day, I'm thankful that I called your show because I thought I was going to kill myself, but I have a family and I have a great job and I have a wife and I have a couple kids and it's amazing. And, you know, that was kind of the thing that kind of we set sail at that point, and it was all the way up after that.
So the other day, after he had said all that, I said, okay, dude, we're not letting you ruin another show, so go on about your business. We saved your life once, fine, blah, blah, blah. And what was so cool is that when we heard the cops come in there, they were rapping him in the head with the batons. I mean, they were just like beating the shit out of him. And we were like, that's what you get for messing up our show. We're trying to make a name for ourselves here in the big city. Damn.
Do you remember we had Harry Connick Jr. on one time? This was '98. And it was one of the first guests that we had. He came and he brought his tour bus and the whole thing. And Harry Connick Jr. came into the studio, and he was from Louisiana, and we were from Louisiana, and we really hit it off. Like, genuinely, we were having a good time. And he had 20 minutes to be there. And we were like, we know you got to go. He was just cool. We're just like, I'm having so much fun, and we'll keep going. And we talked to Harry. This is such bad radio, but we talked to Harry Connick Jr. from like 8 o'clock until or like 8:30 until like 9:50. We didn't play a song. We didn't play commercials. We didn't do anything. And we could see salespeople in the window like my client wants to know when their commercial's running. And we were afraid he would leave if we took a break. So we just kept talking to him like, we're having so much fun. This is awesome. Like, he's a celebrity. He likes us. We're not going to stop. And then at the end, we had to tell everybody, okay, we're going to run about 27 minutes of commercials in a row right now. And they were pissed. And they had right to be pissed. But we just didn't want him to leave. And we were like so excited that he was so cool. We were having so much fun with him.
Yeah. Now I don't even let celebrities come in the studio. I hate them.
Yeah, you were not crazy about the celebrity stuff at all.
No.
Was
I've
there
become
one
jaded over the years, Riggins.
Was there
I don't
one?
know if you can tell by working with me every day.
No, I can tell.
Yeah.
But was there one? Was there one that you did love? Because
Yeah, I liked Harry Connick Jr. I liked Will Ferrell. Sting was really cool. Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler called us back. We hung up on him.
yeah, tell the story about when you met Janet Jackson. I think that's a weird one.
Okay, but hang on. Emily, do y'all care about eating fancy meals at restaurants and stuff? You don't? You don't care about that? All right.
I mean, we like fancy restaurants. So I think whatever.
Well, which is it? Do you care about fancy restaurants or no? Okay.
Yeah, good
Hold on.
answer. Emily, you almost screwed up there.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, take the damn gift card. What are we doing?
You really boofed that one, Emily.
What was your question, Riggins?
I wanted the. Okay, here it comes. The celebrity story that.
Oh, Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait.
Yeah, TJ, this
Wait,
is
hang on,
this
real
is
quick.
a live
Wait, real
show.
quick. I was supposed to do something a long time ago and I forgot.
Go ahead.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, oh my
I can wait.
God.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
Serious? Well, no, do it now.
so
Never mind. Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead. God bless you.
did you say Janet or Latoya?
Yeah, who wants to hear the story about when you met Latoya Jackson? That's Latoya.
So Janet Jackson was at the Blockbuster Amphitheater, which is now called something else.
PNC Pavilion.
Yeah. And yeah,
Used to be
Alexis.
the Blockbuster Amphitheater.
Who gave Alexis a speaking part?
Yeah. Todd, you remember it was the Blockbuster Amphitheater? Yeah.
So anyway, that was we had clout with the radio station at the time. They liked us and all that. They didn't the whole time though. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, every radio station kind of wanes in their enthusiasm for us, but they got it back now. Kiss 95.1 has it back now. I guess they do. They put us back on there, and they've seen the error of their ways. But anyway, Janet Jackson, she comes to town. She's doing a concert. We go backstage with some listeners to meet her. She comes in. She's weird as hell, as you can imagine. She comes in like this. And she's so beautiful. And let me just say, I've had a fantasy about Janet Jackson since I was, in high school. And so she comes walking in, And usually when you meet celebrities, they're not as good looking up close as they are when you see them on TV and all that, but she was. So we get in this group picture, and she's standing like this, so shy. And as we start to walk away, and I was really cute then. I still had my hair, and I was in much better shape, and I cared about how I dressed and all that. And so I was looking pretty good. I was, as the kids say now, feeling myself. But I wasn't married at the time.
Yeah.
Actually, I was.
Yeah, you are. You were completely married at the time.
And as we started to walk away, I didn't really accost her or anything. I just reached out and grabbed her arm like this and just did that because she didn't look real. I was just like, what does she feel like?
On her skin.
I was like, because she's standing like this, and I just like, I just gave her arm just a little tiny squeeze. And she looked at me like I had just, tied her up and gagged her and threw her into a dark basement and strung her upside down,
It was awkward.
put messages in the want ads in the paper to see if they can figure out my serial killer clues and all of that stuff. So she overreacted a little bit. Yeah, she was being a little dramatic with it.
Jackson behavior.
Yeah, I mean, the whole family's all messed up.
It's wacko.
Can't even take a squeeze on the arm from somebody who's playing her music on the radio.
It's
She
terrible.
owed me that touch of the arm.
Ace, what was a celebrity interaction that you look back on and go, that did not go well? Has there been one?
Yeah, there were two. One was what's the hit 'em? Who was the one?
Not Blue Cantrell.
No,
She
not Blue
was
Cantrell.
awesome.
She was great.
I squeezed
Macy
her
Gray.
arm, too.
So we go. Macy Gray pops to mind immediately. Remember Macy Gray? Because I was playing this Macy Gray CD. I try and I choke, or whatever the hell the songs were. So I quit listening. And we take listeners backstage at Blockbuster Pavilion to meet Macy Gray. And she comes out and sits down at the table. And she doesn't look up. She's wearing sunglasses, and everybody lines up. It's like a little picnic table backstage. And she sits down, and this is her. And she never looks up, never speaks to anybody. And we're supposed to interview her after this is over. And we sit down with her across from this picnic table. You can tell she's in a bad mood. And she said, and her manager said, "You got 2 minutes." We were like, 2 minutes? How do we interview somebody in 2 minutes? And I think TJ goes, "Well, just forget about it then. We're cool. No problem." And she just got up and walked away, and everybody left. What they didn't count on was the fact that we went on the air Monday. We're like, Macy Gray's a bitch. And we told everybody, she was rude, she was arrogant, she was rude to our listeners. We're not going to play her music on the mornings anymore. We hate that bitch. And it was bad. We were very upset about it because she was very rude to people we had brought there to meet her. So the record company calls the program director at the time, Brian Bridgman. And they were like, "What can we do? We'll fly Ace and TJ to New York. We want them to come backstage at Madison Square Garden and meet Macy and hang on and get to know her." We were like, hell no. Then we went on the air and told them the record company tried to fly us to New York, and we're not going.
I'm like, you think I'm going to go to that liberal Mecca and let all that stuff get on me when I get to New York? No way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who else was a jerk. Franklin Graham.
Franklin Graham.
That's a joke. I'm kidding.
I was like, when did you meet Franklin Graham? Damn.
Everybody got quiet. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. I've sent money to Samaritan's Purse.
Well, we're about to go viral.
No, that was a joke. I'm a big fan of Franklin Graham.
Hey, I just thought of
But
something.
his dad, now that's a different story.
Yeah.
He was.
Sure.
Adam, raise your hand. So many people hear us talk about our manager, Adam. Stand up for a second, just so people can see Adam. So, we were tomatoes. So we were working at KISS, and we had this agent who represented huge radio names: New York, Chicago, LA, all the biggest names. And he took us on as a client, and then he wouldn't call us back. I don't know. He really didn't. I guess he thought we were too small time to deal with in Charlotte. And so Bill, to his credit, who was our GM, told us, I just like doing Bill's voice. He was like, there's this guy. He runs a voice company, but you should check into it. I think he seems like he's pretty sharp. And so we called Adam and said, hey, we want to get rid of our agent and get a new agent, and we're getting some offers to syndicate, but we don't know what we're doing because we don't have anybody to help us. And Adam said, I don't think I'm the guy for that job. And I was like, well, damn it. There went our only hope right there. So now we're done. And then about 6 weeks.
I was like, damn New Yorkers.
Yeah. So about 6 weeks later, Adam calls back and he's like, hey, I've been thinking about this, and I think maybe we can work something out. By any chance, are you going to the Radio and Records Convention? We were like, yes, we are, because it was our first time being nominated for Radio Morning Show of the Year. We were so excited. This is a big deal. Radio and Records was a trade publication that we grew up reading. It was a huge deal to be in it. And they had nominated us for Morning Show of the Year with like Rick Dees and all these other shows that people knew around the country. It was the first time we'd ever been nominated.
Was the Morning Stiffy out of Oklahoma nominated for that one?
Not for that one.
Yeah, there was a rock show we knew called the Morning Stiffy. I guess that was the next year.
Yeah. So we did our radio show, then we flew from Charlotte to LA. We got to the hotel, we dropped our stuff off, we changed clothes. We thought it was going to be so cool. And we went to this theater where they were going to be giving these awards away. And Aerosmith was being interviewed before us, and that ran long. And they were like, Jennifer Love Hewitt's going to present the award. And we thought, how cool are we? We're like the 5 greatest morning shows in America, and we're meeting this guy there who's going to syndicate us. We're the coolest people ever. We didn't think we were going to win, but we were so happy to be nominated. It was like a dream come true. And because Aerosmith ran long, this guy just starts yelling, okay, Jennifer Love Hewitt's going to make the announcement. Swear to God, she stood up in a chair in the middle of the lobby and yells out, Ryan Seacrest! And then it was over. And that's what we flew to LA for. And it was like, literally, it was done. We were there about 15 minutes and it was over. And I was like, this is maybe the most disappointing day of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went to dinner with Adam, and that's how we ended up being syndicated. Adam's been running our whole syndication thing ever since.
Yeah, I still think we would have won if I hadn't called her Jennifer Love Huge Boobs. I think she took offense to that and held it against us.
I didn't like that.
I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we met Adam and we walked away from our meeting, I was like, did you see those loafers he was wearing with shorts?
Oh, awful.
I know. It's like, we can't trust him.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot, 25 years. I want to ask, did your kids do well with the massive amount of fame that their fathers started receiving early on? Were they able to handle it well in school and with their friends and stuff like that?
Mine never would tell anybody.
Really?
Yeah, it's not because they were ashamed. They were just, they would come home one day. It was inevitable that one day they'd come home from school and go, well, my teacher figured out who you were, and she asked me, is your dad on the radio, and that sort of thing. But other than that, they never told anybody because I had, pounded it into them. Don't ever, think that you're special for anything. Isn't that a great message from your dad? You're not special for any reason. You're a little dumb shit. You're lucky to even be on this planet. If your mama wasn't pretty, you wouldn't even be here. But yeah, they never did, and they weren't ashamed because when somebody would say something at school, they'd go, "Yeah, that's my dad," and whatnot. My daughter graduated from college in Nashville in last May, and she's moving back to Nashville, and she applied for this job that's in the industry, podcast, radio-ish kind of thing, and it was all she could do to put, "I've been around radio my whole life." She didn't even want to put that, and Jody goes, "Well, did you tell them who your dad was so they could look it up and see it was legit?" She goes, "Yeah, I did, but I know good and damn well she did."
Yeah, of course not. Yeah. Ace, did your son and daughter have a lot of pride in what their dad did?
Peyton never told anybody never mentioned it or anything. Never came up unless there. And then same thing. A teacher would eventually figure it out.
Yeah.
Cade, wave your hand in the back. That was Cade's introduction. You know, in the class they'd be like, "Introduce yourself," and Cade would be like, "My name's Cade. My dad is Ace from the Ace and TJ show." God dang,
wow.
man! Like low key that a little bit. He would just, that was every teacher knew right off the bat. But they all eventually found out. And then, like one of the worst days of my life. It might be a slight exaggeration, but I felt terrible as a parent. In the second grade, Peyton got really mad at Cade one night, and she told him that she hoped he would die. And we had a long conversation about we don't say that and everything. And she said, "Please don't tell that on the radio." And I said, "I won't, I promise." And I forgot about that. And the next morning, I told that story at 7:20 on the radio while they were on their way to school because I'm a moron. And my ex-wife texts me and she goes, or maybe she called, I think she texted, whatever. And she goes, "Your daughter heard you tell that story on the radio today after you told her last night you wouldn't." And apparently Peyton looked at her and goes, "He said he wouldn't tell anybody." Here's what makes it worse. Her second grade teacher sends me an email and says, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I'm not sure what happened, but when Peyton got to school today, she came and sat in my lap and cried and said her daddy told a story on the radio he promised he wouldn't tell."
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I made her cry, and then when she came home, we had to have a conversation about sometimes, parents make mistakes, and sometimes they're real stupid, and your dad did a dumb thing, and I'm sorry. But
And who wants another free T-shirt?
Do a T-shirt giveaway.
for the record, my daughter got over that when she got old enough to go to concerts because we could hook her up all the time.
Hell yeah. That goes right
Yeah,
out the
I
window.
mean,
And I still say that teacher's ass should be fired
Yeah.
for doing that during the show. But you know how these Marxists are.
Yeah.
Yeah. In addition, I will say
My mama was one of those Marxist teachers. No, she wasn't a Marxist, but she was a teacher.
You guys-
And Ace's mom was a teacher. You're a teacher? Oh, are you one of those indoctrinators, or do you actually teach? Don't even tell me because I like you, Emily. I don't even want. Let's just keep it. Keep it. Okay, we're good. All right, because I was gonna say, give me that Fahrenheit gift card back. All right, what, Riggins?
I was just gonna say, in addition to the success you've had on the radio, you guys have the kids you raised are stand up kids.
Oh well, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They're good kids.
TJ's raised some very good kids.
And those are mine back there. Y'all say hey to the peoples. Those are my children.
Cade, wave your hand. That's my son's back there. There you go.
And
then-
everybody's been asking about my wife and stuff. My wife did not come because this is my night. I'm sorry, this is our night. No, her ass is back there. So
You can see this.
Amanda, wave your hand so everybody can see. That's my pregnant wife, Amanda.
and
I'll be 55 when I have a baby in like a month or so. That's crazy.
all right, don't laugh. Stop. It's a sad thing. They're both going to be in walkers at the same time. Somebody else that has been a big part of our 25 years on the radio in Charlotte, our friend Cubby is back there. Say hey, Cubby.
Wave, Cubby. There you
Cubby
go.
has lost like 391 pounds. Look at him. Hell yeah, you probably can't even see him. Don't turn to the side, buddy.
And
And then beside him, does anybody watch that stupid Small Town Adventures thing on the thing? That's my little friend Jenny and her handsome husband Michael back there. Wave at them. Jenny, wave. Jenny, come on. You're a little trooper. Let's go.
no wave.
Would you like to say something to the people, Jenny? Come on up here. Come on. No, she's a little mean devil.
And since we're talking about all these years, Todd, raise your hand in case nobody saw you earlier. Todd was the production director of Kiss 95.1 when we came here. And so I would spend like about an hour a day sitting in there with Todd going, nope, that's not it. Find it. We were trying to do these promos, but that's not the right part. Find it. I didn't know what I was doing. But we spent a ton of time with Todd, who was very important in setting things up for us as far as promos and everything when we first started.
Yeah, and I was the reproduction director.
Hey,
with the ladies. There's Miss Vicky who cuts our hair. Not mine anymore because I could do it myself, but she cuts Jody's hair and does Laney's hair and Aiden's hair, but Aiden's doesn't look done.
It's good. It's the good college flow.
Are you still doing Dale Jr.'s hair? Yeah. Oh, so she's the hairdresser to the stars. Look at her. And seriously, our staff is so important. Except Riggins. No, we have a staff that right now, because we've gone through this huge change in our career where we were on the radio and that radio station didn't want us anymore. They didn't think we were worth anything. And so we, instead of re-signing with them at basically a rate of pay that would have us get rid of Riggins would not have been able to stay with us, and Rob we wouldn't have been able to afford them. We went out and just started our own company and trying to do as much as we can to have everything done on where we're the ones in control of all of it, and they've made a lot of sacrifices. And most of them have been really cool. Riggins is like family to us. Rob has dedicated himself. Mr. Todd, of course, our partner Adam is fantastic. Frank, our website and graphic design person. Melissa, our sales manager. My wife Jody is even pitching in and doing some stuff, clerical work and things like that. Ray, who comes in and, like, if we have a leak in the pipes or something, he fixes it. So we thank all of them so very much. No, and Alexis. Stand up, Alexis. Let them see you. No, stand up. Stand up. And we are a tight bunch. And Riggins started with us when you were what, 22, 23? 20.
Were you 20 when you were an intern?
Yeah.
Yeah. High as a satellite.
All right.
Swear to God, I'll give you a true story.
Yeah.
Do you mind it?
This is the Ace and TJ 25. We don't need to talk about me doing
Wait,
drugs,
hang on.
do we?
Wait.
Come on,
Jeremiah,
dude.
my nephew's here. Plug
Hey,
your ears
go.
for me. He's only 13. I'm going to use the F word.
I think
This is okay. Can I use the F word in this? Is it okay? So
You say the N word?
no.
I was like, no, you cannot.
The studio we used to have at Kiss was awesome, and we had so it's like TJ was across from me, and it kind of went this way, and there was a window that went into the room next to us. And Riggins, I swear to God, his first day as an intern, he had long hair, and he was sitting there, and I glanced in right as the show was starting, and we used to have a bunch of interns because I don't know if we didn't care about the rules or interns just they would do their internship and then just keep hanging around. We would have 4 or 5 different people just hanging around every day because it was fun, getting no college credit, which turned out to be highly illegal, and we didn't know that, and the company made us stop. But I looked in there, and Pete was standing in the room, and I was like, pardon the expression, I was like, who the fuck is the kid with the smile? What's his deal? Pete goes, he's actually really excited to be here because he's grown up listening to the show. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. Turns out, he was high as he could be. That's what he was smiling at the whole time.
Yeah. Ace is like, how dare he come in here smiling?
I just thought it was weird. I guess I have a hard time believing somebody would be that excited to be hanging out in the room with us.
Well, two things can be
And
true
he's
at
the
once.
ve-
I was excited and it might have been a little high.
But he's the very
But-
best. He's been around all these years.
Thank
He's
you.
been the best.
Thank you very much.
Please.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, he is what we call someone who gets it in our business, and you either had that or you don't. I mean, because y'all hear a lot of cheesy ass radio people on the air and yucking it up and saying stuff they think is funny, and you're like, that's not funny, and they're hee haw and all that, and that's the opposite of what our show is. And when he came in, he got it. He's not like that at all. He's just as jaded and twisted as the rest
Yeah.
of them.
That's true.
He's been awesome from day one.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank
Well, except for that time you were doing sales.
you. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
I was pretty bad at sales.
He would sit in the conference room, and I don't know how he ended up. Adam goes, well, that Riggins kid, he'll do sales. We're like, okay. And Riggins would sit in there and call people, and then just hang up the phone like nobody answered.
It's not a good job for me. It's not a good
Yeah.
gig. I was not great. All right, so, well, that was wonderful. Did you guys enjoy tonight? Yeah, it's great. But this is 25 years of the Ace and TJ show in Charlotte, and we've got some new initiatives, new projects we're working on all the time. A lot goes in behind the scenes to make some new things happen, and I know Ace and TJ have been briefed on some of these things. And TJ pulls out the smallest pair of glasses I've
never seen those before. Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty damn sweet.
Yeah,
Very
I
cool.
like that.
I mean, you
Your
pulled
old
those out
ass
of
needs
nowhere.
some. Look, they go in this and they just slip in your pocket.
I like that.
Yeah, you pull them out at restaurants and
So,
stuff.
Yeah.
And 25th anniversary bullshit shows.
So a couple things. First off, thanking our sponsors for tonight. Atlantic Bay Mortgage. Where's Tammy? Tammy's awesome. Tammy Stowe from Atlantic Bay Mortgage.
Oh my gosh, she's such a jerk.
Melissa Chambers, Chambers and Associates Realty. Johnny Fly, their sunglasses out here are fantastic. We hope you'll check that out. And we do have some raffle stuff coming up. But a couple of big things that we're doing
There's Tammy
soon.
right there with her fine
Wait,
self.
Tammy, wait.
Look at her.
Can't say enough nice things about Tammy at
Being all
Atlantic Bay
pretty.
Mortgage. So two things that we have coming up. Number one, how many of you, does anybody here follow the Share Funny podcast that we put out every day? Okay. The name of that is about to change. It's going to be called the Extra Funny Podcast. And as TJ put it, because Share Funny is a dumb name. So no, really, the show's kind of, we like to think of the show as funny, and this is like some extra funny. So we're going to change the name of the Share Funny podcast to the Extra Funny Podcast.
See,
And
it's
then-
a double meaning. Like it's extra, like an extra material, but it's also extra as in it's funnier than the regular crap. You see?
Yeah.
You see how that works?
It's pretty smart.
Clever.
And then this one I'm really excited about, and honestly, I wish I could say that I thought of it, but I didn't. And I'm not sure if it was Adam or Melissa or exactly who thought of this, but I think it's a genius idea. I am very blessed that my wife Amanda and I have a baby coming, expected on June 17th, and they came up with the idea to do the Ace and TJ Baby Registry. So in honor of our son Dax, who's going to be born sometime around the 17th, you can go to acetj.com/baby. When you go there, there are two options for you to pick to help support parents who are in need through Levine Children's Hospital. And when you click, there's a list of things that you can buy there that will go toward these parents who are in need and struggling in a very difficult situation. And I think it's a wonderful thing to do, and I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be able to tell Dax once he's born, hey man, from the moment people heard about you, that this is kind of an important thing, because I've always kind of preached to my kids that it's important to help others who don't have the benefits that you have, and so we're honored that. I'm honored, and I know Amanda is too, that Dax can be a part of that even before he's born, and so it's real special. So acetj.com/baby, it's all set up and ready to go right now if you want to go check it out.
And, don't raise any red flags or anything. A lot of single moms who are underprivileged and all do need Louis Vuitton bags. So if you help provide that for my wife, for the needy mothers, it's going to be nice. Actually, my wife's friend is here who has our own designer bag company. Her name is Jill Tweedy, and she's done some sponsorships on our show and all. And her office is right next door to ours. So everybody in the legitimate business gets to hear us cussing and talking all vulgar. And by us, I mean Alexis.
Yeah. Do you know what she told me earlier outside? I said, "Oh, there's like our neighbor." She goes, "Oh, we hear you through the wall all the time." And apparently I'm the only one that's loud enough to be heard through the door.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she said. I guess I cuss a lot. I don't know.
Have y'all ever heard anybody who just always has to say MFer through gritted teeth? These mother... That's what Gwen, that used to work on our show. Do y'all know Gwen? Y'all heard of her? Yeah, she's dead to us.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Once
kidding.
you leave, man,
that was
you're
her
dead to
favorite.
us.
That was her favorite thing about Ace, is how he would do that. These mother... All right. Oh, is it my turn now?
Yeah, TJ.
Yeah, I'm
tell
done.
us-
That's
tell
all I
us
have.
about
Oh, okay.
What's coming up?
Tell us
All right.
more.
And this is completely off the cuff. Ace TJ Prime. This is something that we really need y'all's help on, because for some reason I've been put as the what do you call it? The foreman or whatever of a project where it's
Project
Ace-
manager?
Yeah, I guess Ace TJ Prime, and it is a section of our broadcast and our network that you can go to and get all kinds of special things. Commercial-free versions of the show. You know, if you download and listen to our show on a podcast version, you would be able to get that without the commercials. Also, you would get... we're going to do Extra Funny as the replacement of the name Share Funny, but there's also going to be an extra segment every day of Share Funny that only the subscribers and all to Ace TJ Prime will get. You'll also get access to us like you've never had before, and that's why we won't be talking to any of you tonight, because we want you to pay to talk to us later online.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, interactive chat sessions is what they're going to get. Plus unique content and video project things like if you like the small town adventure thing and stuff like that, and live from the living room, there are going to be all kinds of other cool stuff in the Ace TJ Prime stuff, and the store that we have coming, which is where these free T-shirts that we've been giving out tonight are going to come from. But again, they're just vouchers at the moment. But don't
luck.
let that make you think it's not a top-notch operation, because it is. You will also get a special line right to us during the show if you're listening live. So if you have a comment or something about what's going on, we'll see your comment before we do the regular old poor listeners. Right, Adam? We do not have any tolerance for poor. And the Ace TJ Prime Rewards program that's going to let you win a lot of prizes and stuff. And you can also get, prizes like these VIP experiences and all that. So one of them is going to be if you win, you will get to go into the delivery room when Dax is born and video it.
It's exciting.
And something that, I do a video podcast thing called Fend for Yourselves. It's because I like to cook, and it's a cooking show. Oh, thank you. I got the one follower back there.
Look at that.
Thank you.
I love that show.
And so there is a company that contacted us, and they said, hey, how would you like to have your own brand of hot sauce? And we've been working on it for a while. We're going to have the Ace and TJ hot sauce, and it's a collection of 5 different hot sauces that I had to go and taste this and say, no, tweak it to that, not twerk it to that, tweak it to that, tweak it to this, tweak it to that. Y'all you'll be the first to know the names of them Y'all want to know the names? Okay,
Yeah.
so there are 5 of them.
Yes, I would like to know the names.
You know the names. I told you the other day, and you were like, "Yeah, that's cool." One's called, because you know the Louisiana style of cooking, and Ace and I being from Louisiana, it's a jalapeno sauce. It's green. It's called Gator Glaze. Isn't that cool? Gator Glaze. There's another one that's a cayenne hot sauce, and it's a Louisiana style hot sauce called Louisiana Lovin', which could mean anything in Louisiana. There's another one that's kind of what I'm calling a Cajun hot sauce, a combination of Cajun and Asian. It's a sweet, kind of like a spicy Polynesian sauce that's called Sweet Swamp. And then there's one called Phantom Fire, and that's a habanero sauce, or a ghost pepper sauce, I'm sorry, Phantom Fire. And then the other one is a taco sauce called Mucho Mexico. And they're all really good. Mucho Mexico is probably my favorite one in the whole thing. So we're going to be having that in the store, and then you'll have chances to win all of that and everything. So we really would appreciate that, you, not for us, but for the staff to be able to finally get paid. If you would check that out when it's available and all, and y'all are the first ones to hear about it. Obviously, we didn't rehearse these announcements to really make a splash as a marketplace, So that's about it.
That's really exciting. Did you guys have a good time tonight?
Hey, I just want to say one thing. We used to go to these, they don't have them as much anymore. We used to go to these radio conventions. First off, Piper, wave your hand. This is my sister Piper and my nephew Jeremiah, who drove 14 hours to be here tonight and surprise me. I had no idea they were coming. So we used to go to these radio conventions, and we've been doing this now almost 30, November will be 30 years that we've worked together, 25 years in Charlotte. If you look at the 25 years in Charlotte, when you count all the charity stuff, somewhere between, we're not exactly sure of the number, but somewhere between 12 and 14 million dollars has been raised for charity. I mean, a lot of that's our charities, Grin Kids and Peyton's Promise and all that. 12 to 14 million dollars has been raised for charity in the last 25 years. But wait, that's because of y'all. That started one day with Anthony Stansel, and we'd been in town about 6 months, and we had $37 between 5 people to donate to Anthony Stansel, who was a sheriff's deputy who was shot in the face at a Harris Teeter trying to stop a guy who was stealing $11 worth of crab legs. And within 2 days, we'd raised $220,000 for his family, and the Ace and TJ show is off to the races. You're awesome. And people have marveled at the stuff that we've done. And in October, you raised $57,000 in 6 days because I'm riding a stupid bike 500 miles, me and Todd saying stuff like, "This is real dangerous, we should stop." And I was like, "I think we're okay." And then I get run off the road into a ditch, and I'm laying on the sidewalk, and I'm bleeding, and I'm yelling at my Apple Watch, "Call Todd!" Because he's ahead with the drone, like, where is he? He was supposed to be here by now. What's happening? But y'all have continuously showed up for us for 25 years, and we appreciate it very much. And we're very, very, very blessed to have you. So thank you for tonight and for 25 years or however many years you've been a part of our radio family. A lot of y'all have been here the entire 25 years. It means the world to us. Thank you.
But, I mean, it's not like they didn't get anything out of it. I mean, they get free,
we did our part.
They get free entertainment and shit, so.
We delivered.
I mean,
There's no doubt about that.
Least they can do to support our stuff.
Exactly.
Speaking of, have the first 2 subscriptions to Ace and TJ Prime Plus, which is the big time where you get everything. Even like when I go in for my next colonoscopy, y'all will get the results before my wife does.
It's OnlyFans for the Ace and TJ show is what it is.
This is the real deal.
Yeah.
And don't raise your hand, Kimberly, because they'll think it's fixed, but I'm already going to bring you one because you're the biggest fan ever. This is Kimberly, and she's at every one of these, and she is so sweet, and she really takes the time to make my wife feel like my wife is wanted and special. So, Kimberly, here is the first one.
Oh, wow. That's very nice.
And who should get the next one? Who's at every one of these things and always supporting all of this stuff? Blake gets enough.
I ran into Blake at the Daytona 500.
Oh, really?
Yeah, swear to God. I'm walking through the parking lot of the Daytona 500. I was like, oh my God, I know that guy.
Beautiful. All right, so got to.
What did he say? He stopped and tell Alexis, you don't get shit.
I laid those envelopes over there on the table, and Rob goes, hey, you know Alexis is going to be sitting over here. She's going to want that free shit.
That's true. That's true.
Tell her, you don't get shit.
But we appreciate you and thank you for your dedication.
The other morning, he comes into the office, and I'm sitting there working on stuff, and Riggs is sitting there, and TJ comes in, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he goes, hey, and he runs past me into Rob's room, which is a little door that goes in. He goes in Rob's room, and next thing I hear is, and Alexis comes in and is like, that's bullshit, whatever that was. He saw her pull in, and he runs through and watches through the blinds, and when she walked past his truck, he set the alarm off, and it scared the shit out of her. I was like, it's like 5:50 in the morning, and she's already peed her pants from the alarm going off in his truck.
Because you know she's high as hell anyway. All right.
All right, thank you to the Hyatt Centric South Park Charlotte for providing us this great room. If you've never stayed at the Hyatt,
This is an awesome place.
this is a great hotel.
And there's a raffle, so who's giving away
Yeah.
the raffle prizes? I
I'm
don't know
sure
anything
Alexis
about that.
and Melissa will be handling the
You can do-
raffle.
okay,
Oh, God, we
so there's a
can't-
great raffle coming up, so thank y'all so much.
And thanks to all of the Kiss 95.1 people who came. We really appreciate you.